and welcome to my home in Wheeling, West Virginia. I'm Betsy Sweeny. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Like and subscribe for more. Hi, Betsy. You are in East Wheeling, West Virginia, where you're restoring a house from 1892. Is that right?
That's right.
Tell me all about this restoration project.
Well, almost a year ago, May of 2020, I purchased the house and it was in pretty bad shape. Definitely not livable, but good bones. And I've been working on it pretty much since I closed on it. So there's a lot of water damage, a lot of deferred maintenance, things like that. And we're finally starting to kind of round the corner where I've stopped taking things out and fixing them. And I'm actually putting things back into the house, which is really motivating.
So of all the homes that you looked at when you were in the home purchasing process, what drew you to this particular house?
This property had the great location. It had an extra lot where a house had formerly stood that was torn down. So that came with the parcel. And then architecturally, the house is just so cool because it's from the Victorian-Era, but it's not your typical like flowery, romantic kind of Victorian. It's a little bit more East Lake in style. So it's got a little bit more of a geometric influence on the decoration. And it's just really cool. It's unique. I hadn't seen anything quite like it.
You have things like incredible fireplaces, stained glass windows are some of the things that I've seen. Was this a surprise to you when you entered the house?
Yeah, so particularly on that street, a lot of the larger homes are Italianate in style and just a little bit earlier. So you'll have a passage and then like formal rooms on one side or the other typically. My home is a little different in that the stair hall room is an actual room. So it's this very grand entryway with this sweeping stair, and there's a fireplace underneath the stair in this like little nook, which is really like just really sweet. It's just an eclectic style house. There's no other way to say it. And the fact that so much of the historic character of the property was still intact was shocking, because 30 years ago, I think, was the last time a family lived in the property full time, and then it was abandoned for several decades. And then the couple that I purchased it off of had started to make improvements, but they essentially saved it from the demolition list. So this is a house that's been through the ringer, and the fact that stained glass was still there, all 5 chimney pieces were still there, not a single piece of woodwork on my staircase was broken or missing, like stuff like that. It just, the things that are almost irreplaceable were actually still intact, and that was so special for me.
Have you had sort of an uh-oh moment since you've purchased the house where you've thought, what have I gotten myself into with this restoration?
Everyone asks that, and truthfully, no. I'm in a fortunate position that this is kind of what I do for a living. So that crazy messed up house was in about the best hands it could have ended up in. But there are certainly some days where I think like, okay, I need to write down a list of everything I need to do in the next week. And I look at that list and I'm like, shit, I still have a full-time job. Like, this is a lot.
How do you make sure it doesn't turn into a money pit?
Due diligence is really important. So a lot of times when people see something that's like down to the studs, they think, oh my God, this is a shell. There's nothing to this. Sometimes it's better, because if you walk through an old property that hasn't been maintained, that hasn't been inhabited, and you walk around and you think, oh, that looks like maybe it could be salvaged, don't think that way. Just expect that everything that can be broken is. Every number you get, add 20%. And like, if you really just set yourself up for a worst case scenario, you will never be disappointed. And the process will be shockingly stress-free because you've already anticipated all the things that could go wrong.
So interesting. What has been sort of your favorite part about this restoration project?
I really love when I have the time to work on the house myself with my own 2 hands, because I do have that knowledge and background, but most of my day-to-day job is more of a consulting role where I'm helping people work with their contractor or their craftsman or their architect or whatever, because I'm dealing with larger preservation projects. So I end up in more of a desk job dealing with historic preservation that way. So I love on like a Sunday afternoon to just put on some messy clothes, go over to the house by myself, put on an audiobook and just work. It's so peaceful.
How long do you think this whole process will take you from start to move in?
It's been really crazy. So when I bought the house, it was a project just for me. I wasn't involving anyone else. It was just a personal project. It's gonna be my home that I live in. And when that was the case, 6 to 8 month construction schedule, I had it tight, fast, and like I was gonna be in around the new year. But I am in this weird position where I was blogging for myself and my family, and I was on social media for my friends and my family, and then the project just blew up, and now I'm in this whole new world of content creation and blogging, and it's really fun and it's really new, but it does take time. And so with that new world of whatever, there have been certain opportunities that have made it make sense to slow down. So now I'm kind of at a point where I'm hopeful that by the summer, it's livable. Whether or not I decide to live in it, remains to be seen. But I think by summer it'll be livable. And then anything after that, I really want to take my time and just make it what I want and enjoy the process. Like I said, I like to work on my house, so I'm not trying to rush through it. I kind of am savoring the process. But compared to the timeline I had when I bought it, I would say we're like 6 months behind, but by choice.
What's been the most fulfilling about this project?
Oh, the best part about this project is it is a house that is big. It's kind of looming on a little bit of a bank in the neighborhood. Like everyone knows about it. All of my neighbors have seen it degrade in various states of disrepair over the years. And so many people saw it and thought, this is a house that is too far gone. Like, it's not worth saving. It's a mess. It's a money pit, all these different things. And to be able to show people that with some preparation and with some knowledge and like just a vigilant construction schedule, the house is savable, and the neighborhood deserves to have homes that are restored and people are living in them and that they are healthy for the community, not to be a neighborhood full of homes that are empty. And so I love seeing people that have lived on my street for 30, 40 years who have seen my house be empty for the majority of their lifetime, see that it's coming back to life, or have neighbors stop by and say, hey, come on in, you want to see the progress. Like, I think it's very empowering for other people that see some of the other properties on my street that maybe need the same amount of work to know that it actually can be done, and it was done just down the street.
Well, I can't wait to see it in 6 months or so when it's all finished and you're moved in, and then we can see all of the after pictures with your beautiful interior design, which I know that you will surely have. Do you have any ideas about what it will look like on the inside in terms of design?
I do. I love design, and I'm so excited to style the house because I really, really love the beautiful traditional historic architecture. I think the things that were built in the house were meant to be, consistent through time, and I think the things that weren't built in are meant to change. So I am not trying to live in a museum. I don't want it to look like your grandma's house. I don't want any red velvet sofas or cherubs or lamps with fringe on them. Like, no. I love really modern furniture. I have a ton of art that I can't wait to hang up. I really like the juxtaposition between super traditional architecture and super funky modern furnishings.
It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait. Betsy, thank you so much for chatting today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.